Have you ever went on Google search and searched your name and you don't come up? Have you ever tried searching your name on ChatGPT and it doesn't know who you are, or it has some other person with your name that's showing up? The cost of inconsistency is invisibility. And today we're going to be talking about how you can show up consistently and then you'll be visible online. You'll be recognized. And so, what I'm going to start with is a book. Did you know if you have a book that you actually have content that you can put out online for up to a year? You can have a year's worth of content by just having a book. And if you think writing a book is hard or you don't think you could write a book, then maybe you have articles or blogs that you've already written that you could turn into a book. Maybe you have a podcast that you could take all the interviews and turn that into a book. That's what Tim Ferriss did. If you haven't read his book, Toll of the Titans, it's just transcriptions of his interviews that he's done. And if you've read the book, The Minimalist, that's actually just a book of their blog posts. They didn't have to transcribe anything. They just copied and pasted and put it into a book. It's just a different format. People consume content on different formats. You might be listening to this video on YouTube. You might be listening to a short of this on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube Shorts, right? People consume content differently. Some people like to read books. They have their Kindle. They read on their Kindle. Some people like to read on their phone because they just have Kindle books on their phone or Nook on their phone. Some people actually buy the printed books. They like to have paperback, and others really like the hardcover. I know some people who only listen to podcasts and they never listen to audiobooks, and other people who listen to audiobooks and never listen to podcasts, right? So there's so many ways to consume content, and you need to be in those places. Who is your audience and where are they? What are they listening to? What are they reading? And where are they reading them? And where are they listening to them? Because if you are creating that content, then they're going to find you. And if you want to be the industry expert and you want to be the leader in your industry and in your niche, then having a book is the answer. And then that book will create content for the rest of the year. With AI tools now, you can load up your book into ChatGPT and ask it with the right prompting. Now, you have to be the right prompt to give you a bunch of blog posts, or just create one to start with and then create another one and another one, or take each chapter of your book. You can create social media content. Canva is a great tool that people use to create social media content. We've been using it for over 10 years. We actually use it to create our logo for our first podcast, which was called Hot Chicks Write Hot Books. We did a book writing retreat down in Dominican Republic, which launched and took off. And now our publishing company is called Elite Online Publishing. So you can actually do a lot of things by just having a book. Once you have your book, you're going to want to have podcast interviews. Be interviewed. You can be on a podcast and talk about your book. We actually just recently turned our book into a podcast. So we had an audiobook that was distributed out on Spotify and Audible and other places you can listen to audiobooks, but we decided we were going to turn it into a podcast. What that means is that our audiobook is now free. You can go listen to it on Spotify. You can also buy the audiobook on Spotify, but you could listen to it for free if you just go to the podcast area. So there's all different ways to consume content. And it's great because now people can listen to our book and then we can get leads from that. So you want to really be seen and be shown. I just recently did a video on doing Google search and searching your name. So go check out the different case studies I did on that video and you can see what comes up. Once you have a book and you've been on podcast interviews, you're going to be starting to show up. You can be listed in articles. You can be lots of different things that will help you to be recognized and be the authority for your brand and your niche. And of course, posting on social media is very important. I've been doing digital marketing now for over 20 years. Started out just doing video marketing and social media marketing. And then 10 years ago, like I said, we started the book publishing company. And now all of our authors are being found, not just because they have one book on Amazon, but because they have an author page on Amazon, because they have a LinkedIn profile, because they have a social media presence on Instagram and Facebook or Twitter or X. And maybe they have a TikTok, right? So they're showing up in all different places where their audience is so that they can become the leader and the expert in their niche. Now, if you want to become the leader or if you already are a leader, but you're not being found online, then you contact us today because we can help you be recognized. We just recently published the book, Be Recognized, and you can check that out on Amazon as well. And maybe you like to listen to the audiobook. If it's not out yet, it will be out soon. We're probably recording that still, but also you can just check it out on Amazon. Get the book, ebook, paperback, or hardcover, and schedule a strategy session with us today to help figure out how AI plus authority can help you to get found and to get found online. And we'll talk to you soon.